that rivet repair real quick and get you back out fishing. Of course, your best solution is always going to be replacing your rivet itself, but nobody carries, or I don't carry a rivet gun with me and rivets on my boat, and a drill to get out the old rivet. So we're talking about solutions that are quick while you're fishing, before you're fishing, or after you're fishing, to fix that leaking rivet and get you back out on the water fishing. This videos, it's not about doing that permanent repair. It's about doing that there quick repair that you're going to get out and fishing quick. And I'm going to show you a couple ways to do it. The fastest, best way, and the second fastest way. This is the quickest, easiest, fastest way to fix that rivet while you're fishing and get you out on the water back fishing fast. So this is it right here. This is Gorilla Tape. I have used this over my rivets and had it last. I put on a more permanent solution and I took off the tape, and of course the rivet started to leak again. But I keep with me a roll of Gorilla Tape. It's the easiest solution to fix that leaking rivet. So I'm going to show you right here with this here Gorilla Tape, and you can do this, sorry about the wind today, and you can do this while you're fishing. All you need is a strip. I used a little piece of this, so I'm going to do some other rivet repairs today, so I'm just going to use this. But you want to use that whole wide strip of Gorilla Tape. Just go the length of your rivet. Tears real easy. You put that over your rivet, just like that, and you just work it in. And I'm gonna find, there's got to be a stick somewhere. Just work that tape in. You got a stick, and I'm gonna tell you right now, just work it in tight. It'll kind of bleed out the sides. That there Gorilla Tape over your rivet, that is pretty close to a permanent seal. Just like that. Through the course of time, you may eventually get some water. That tape may start to loosen on the ends over a few years. But I kept a piece of tape on over a rivet, and it did not leak for over 2 years before I decided to do a little bit more of a permanent solution, which we're going to talk about next. And that's not your permanent solution. Your permanent solution is always going to be replace that rivet. But this tape, the Gorilla Tape, if you find a better duct tape to use, I guess try that. But I found this, just a plain Gorilla Tape. They make a water style too. I use the plain one. It just works perfect right over the rivet. Just use the whole strip, and you get more coverage. If you want to drop another piece over, feel free to overlap it. But that will keep that rivet dry. You get back out on the water on your aluminum boat, your John boat, rowboat, bass boat, and take care of that rivet when you get back later. So I'm going fishing. So we're going to do the quick breakdown. Permanent repair, you want to use rivets, period. Best fix you can do. You're leaving for the day, the 5-minute Marine Weld, JB Marine Weld epoxy. You fix that rivet before you hit the water. While you're out on the water weld, or to hit up corners, or to do more structural kind of work, I like it's a putty, the JB Weld water weld putty. When I am done fishing, I'll seal that rivet up with Marine Weld, regular overnight cure. And probably the best, fastest, quickest, easiest rivet repair solution I have found is just Gorilla Tape. Put a nice piece of tape right over that rivet, and you're fishing. I have the drill with me today just to make things quick and easy, but when I go out, this is basically what I will carry when I head out. Basically, I'll carry a piece of steel wool, sandpaper. These are just cut. This is from just something to mix the epoxy with. That's actually a plastic knife. I usually always keep with me paper towels, and of course we bring with us, or I'll carry 3 different sealants for 3 different kinds of rivet repairs. Now, one quick note: if you're not sure which rivet is leaking when you get back or any point of your day, one way to find out is in the area where that leak's coming from. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rivets. Put a piece of tape over each one, the Gorilla Tape. Put a piece of Gorilla Tape over each rivet. See if that leak stops. So now you have the general area. The next time you go out, take off a piece of tape where you feel that it may not be leaking from, and see if you get that leak again. If it's not leaking, then you know it's not that rivet. When you go out again, you can even, if you feel it's not this rivet, you can take off that tape. If it starts leaking again, now you know that was your leaking rivet. And then you can just go through the process of elimination to find out that problematic rivet, and then eventually just drop in a brand new rivet. Now, generally, if you got a leaking rivet, if it's not leaking bad, you can get through the day and just kind of, you know, if the rivet's not leaking bad, just keep on fishing. So you're just going to want to sand over the area. I got a power drill, I'm just going to use that. But you just want to sand well over the area of the rivet. Get that paint up. And if you use that tape will lift off the paint for you if you have the paint. And get that good and done. Do it a bit more. Or you can use steel wool. It's a finer. You can get in the corners better with the steel wool around the rivet. You just want to scuff it up. Then when you're done, you can hit it up and wipe it dry. The important part is it's dry, that area is dry before you apply your JB Weld. I bought the power drill, so I'm just going to use that today. All right, again, the 5-minute weld, I'll use that before I'm fishing. While I'm fishing, I use, after I am fishing, I use the marine weld. And while I am fishing, I will use the water weld, JB Weld product. So again, I had dealt with that rivet, a little bit of a leak through the day. That's what they do. That's what rivets do. You can fish with them forever. If you got too many leaking, then you better get to it. But I get back, I'm done fishing, the day's done, so I'm gonna go through the repair. And this is the same thing I would do getting started for the day, except you wait about 20 minutes before you set out on the water with the 5 minutes marine formulated JB Weld product. This one has to sit overnight. So it's really simple. Now, I just make sure it's dry. I'm not worried about that aluminum dust from your aluminum boat, your aluminum john boat, your aluminum rowboat, or your bass boat. I like to mix my epoxy, not separate. I like to mix my epoxy right on the surface. Why? When I mix it on the surface, the epoxy is going to pick up that particulate matter and kind of give it a matrix, and it'll still stick to your surface. Now, even if it's a little moisture, but you get most of that moisture off with your towel. If you got alcohol or vinegar, just make sure, or torch it. If you got a lighter, hit it up with your lighter, it'll dry it up. So I'm going to start. It's really simple. This is all I do. It's 2 parts, equal parts. So we'll go 1 part white, and then the gray right on the rivet area. and you want to make enough just to make a little cap. And that's the hardener, I believe. Just fairly equal parts. You can wear gloves if you like. And I'm going to use my homemade mixer. Now I'm just going to mix that right on until we get it blended well all over the area, so it picks up whatever dust we left behind. Just mix that up, slide it in. I'll mix that for a bit, and it'll start to harden. It'll start to get a little firm. You can feel it. There should be enough there. You want enough so you can make a little cap over your rivet. And I'm gonna mix it up good. A little on the side there, get that in. A little more mixing, just so we get that good solid color. And I keep these here plastic. Those there plastic, I kind of just cut up that knife. And then, of course, that rivet, it's got the head on that rivet. So I work it in both ways, left to the right, to the sides, kind of get it inside that crevice, that crack. And black on the edge, that's okay. And that's about fairly mixed well. So now I will start to form, bring it back in, form my cap over the rivet, bring it in. No big deal, just a lot of mixing. That's all you're doing right on the surface. Now it's getting a little harder, so we're going to start to smooth it out on the sides. You don't have to be perfect. You can paint over it, you can sand it the next time you come back. One thing I found, go get it thin on the edges. You don't want those edges really super thick, because then they'll chip and crack. But if you kind of bring it in fine, like you see the edge there is very flush with the surface. It could be a little lumpy on top, that could be sanded, but you want to make sure it's really thin around your edges, just like that. Kind of bring it all back in. It don't have to be perfect at all. Nothing's perfect. It's not with me. Never been. And that's about it. I think that rivet's somewhere in there. You want a nice little cap over the top. It don't have to be perfect. Let's get that in. And that's it. And if you've, like I said, if you want to come back the next time, and where's the sandpaper? I put it back. You can hit it up with some sandpaper the next time after it dries, if you want. No big deal. It'll sand itself off with time. Don't let nothing stop you fishing. Get through your day, seal up that rivet, get back out, and work on doing that rivet another day in the winter.